I figure if I'm going to be talking about the darkest part of history, I'm going to do it in the dark. So, when we think of the darkest time in American history, most people will think of the Civil War and slavery. And how many times when you're talking about slavery do you hear people say the words, well, the blacks did it to each other, as if to excuse the entirety of the white southern plantation owners that used and abused the people of Africa in chattel slavery. You know it's wrong when you hear it. You know it's wrong when you say it, probably. It is the worst form of victim blaming. And it's wrong because it's inaccurate. See, Britain, they had been going into Africa for a very long time on expeditions, getting to know the people. You had some people who would go over there as part of missionary groups to try and convert, and others who were going over there to explore, and others who were going over there for gold or treasure or whatever. But they were known. Africa is a huge continent, and there are many different tribes. Some of them were friendly, some of them were not, but there was no concept of maps or land. So Britain, they start going into the tribes that they're friendly with, and they bring along a map. And they're like, hey, this map, you are the tribe we recognize in the sovereignty. You are the people we are going to deal with. However, there's this other pesky little tribe over here, you know, these people you don't always get along with, and they don't recognize your sovereignty. So you're going to need to deal with that. We do, but just so you know, they don't. And they would go to the other tribe and do the exact same thing, and they would pit them against each other. And they would say, you know, don't kill the people that, you know, you come across. Try to capture them and give them to us, and we'll take them away for you. And that way, you won't have to deal with the death. You won't have to deal with retribution. And they would gradually thin out the tribes until there were just a handful left, and they'd scoop them up and be like, hey, well, guess there's not enough of you left for us to recognize your sovereignty, and now we own all the land. And they would move on and do this in sections. Sure, there were slavers who caught their own, and sure, there were probably some people of color who did it against each other, but the vast majority of them were done by white British imperialists who were going to spread the wealth of Britain and colonize everything they could touch. They took control over most of Africa with fake maps, fake promises, and flags. Psychological warfare at its very finest. And these people who thought that they were dealing with friends or someone they could trust found themselves instead on the receiving end of slavery. Horrible, horrible conditions. And they were deceived and lied to and manipulated into this position. So they weren't selling each other for the fun of it. And it is in no way, shape, or form their fault that they ended up in chains. We had them convinced, we being white people, British colonialists, imperialists, and later on the people in America, that what they were doing was going to benefit their tribe, right up until the bitter end. I think many of them did not realize what was happening. And when they did, it was too late. And there was already such a division between the tribes, they weren't coming back together. I mean, after all, they declared war on each other over some outside influence. It's really hard to come back from that. And they were broken and scattered and fragmented for hundreds of years. I think the accurate number is around 280, but I would have to look that up to be absolutely sure. So, remember this. Remember this the next time someone says, well, blacks did it to themselves. And tell them no. No, they really didn't. That is not how it happened. That is not how it went down. And don't forget it. Otherwise, you're normalizing victim blaming at its very, very, very base level. Because the horrors of what happened to them after they got here is worse than anything you can probably imagine. And we'll talk about some of that later. That's it for now. Thanks. Bye.